Hello guys, and it's Ben here from Talk Speak English. Now, I think it's safe to say that in England we are obsessed with food. Stick around until the end of the video so you can learn 10 food idioms that can really help spice up your English. So to start today's video, we have the idiom a bad apple. Now, a bad apple is used to describe something or someone that is a bad influence. Let's think of this idea of one bad apple ruining the entire group of apples. This is where we get the idiom from. Imagine you work with Dan. Now, Dan is constantly negative and doesn't want to work. He can also be rude to customers. In this situation, we could describe Dan as a bad apple because his actions have a number of negative consequences and a negative influence on the company or the business as a whole. Next up, we have a couch potato. Now, to understand this one, let's break it up a little bit first of all. So first of all, we have a couch, which of course is something that you sit on to watch TV. And then we have potato, which is of course a common vegetable. So if we imagine this image of a potato on a couch, we can start to understand this idiom. So if you call someone a couch potato, this means that that person is lazy and spends far too much time watching TV. And that is why I love English so much, because we have such an imagination when it comes to our insults. Now the next one's a personal favourite of mine, just because I'm obsessed with cake. Now, if something is a piece of cake, it means that it's simple or easy. For example, Tom didn't find the run difficult. In fact, he thought it was a piece of cake. Just remember to use this one to refer to things and not people. Now I want some cake. If something is not your cup of tea, it means it's not something you enjoy. For example, we could say, if I go to the cinema, I don't usually watch romantic movies, as they aren't really my cup of tea. So here it's saying that I don't like or I don't enjoy romantic movies. For another example, we could say John gets really annoyed when his girlfriend cooks fish because he hates the smell. It's really not his cup of tea. On this one, I'm cheating a little bit because it's not so much about food, but about drink. And I know, we even have an idiom about tea. Tell me something down in the comment section below that isn't your cup of tea. And it can be anything from food, drink, sport. Remember, it's something that you don't enjoy. Next up, we have a hard nut to crack. Now, a hard nut to crack refers to someone that is difficult to understand or something that is difficult to solve. Hey, how are you? Yeah, really good, thanks. You? Yeah, really well, thank you. How did your date go? Not great. I could tell she was really nervous and she didn't talk much. After we sat down and ordered the food, she calmed down a little, but for the whole dinner, she was a hard nut to crack. Wow, okay, sorry to hear that. Hopefully it'll be better next time. So, like the text suggests, if someone is a hard nut to crack, it means that you can't tell what they are thinking or understand what they are like as a person. Now, of course, something can also be a hard nut to crack. For example, the last question in the exam was a hard nut to crack. In other words, it was difficult to solve. In a pickle. In a pickle? Oh, English, you are so weird. Now, if you are in a pickle, it means that you are in a difficult position or you have a problem which is not easy to solve. For example, you could say after their car broke down in the middle of nowhere and they realised that they didn't have any signal to call the emergency services, they were in a pickle. In other words, they were in a really difficult situation. Another example, we could say John got into a pickle at the wedding when he realised that he'd forgotten the rings. Up next, we have the idiom in a nutshell. Now, in a nutshell is when you explain something in a few words or very briefly. For example, you might say that in a nutshell, the film was just so long and boring. In other words, I'm not going to go into detail about the story or the characters. I'm just going to give you a brief summary of the film. Next up, we have one of the cutest idioms on the list, like 2 peas in a pod. Now, this one, I just like it because it's so cute. Now, 2 peas in a pod has 2 meanings depending on the situation. First of all, it can mean that you are very similar to someone, especially in appearance. Twins, for example, could be described as 2 peas in a pod because they are very similar looking. The idiom can also have a romantic meaning. If you describe someone in a relationship like being 2 peas in a pod, it's similar to the feeling that 2 people share when they think that they've found their soulmates, or BFF, or other half. In other words, they were meant for each other. It's very nice, this one. I like it. Very nice and light. Now, I'm sure we all have that one friend that's really easy to influence and always does silly things. In English, if you encourage someone to do something stupid, you egg them on. So egging someone on is to talk someone into doing something that is silly or foolish. Wow, can you believe it that we're at 10 already? How quick has today's lesson gone? To spill the beans means to give away secret information or to gossip. Hey, what happened in the meeting today? Nothing much. We talked about Jennifer. But I can't tell you anything. It's top secret. Oh no, please go on. Please spill the beans. I want to know. Okay, but you can't tell anyone. She got caught stealing office equipment and they fired her yesterday. No way! She was so quiet. I know, but don't tell anyone. It's a secret. So there we are, guys. Great work today. And I just have so much fun making these lessons. I love teaching you idioms that are really common and that I use in everyday conversation. Remember, I'm never going to teach you anything that I don't use personally. And with that being said, let me know if you have any questions or suggestions about something that you're not sure about or something that you want me to look at in more detail. And of course, if you want to practice, please have a go in the comment section down below and I'll be happy to help. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I hope these idioms are useful and I will see you next time.